Hello, and welcome to Pressing Buttons. I'm Hugo.
I'm Nick.
Another great week, another great episode coming at you. Episode 92, simulcast. For those watching or hearing this, whenever you are watching it, we are actually live streaming a simulcast on YouTube and Twitch. Layla, Nick's wife, recommended it. And,
She's a professional content creator, so
yeah, she's at a higher level than us. And she said since we were doing it on Twitch, might as well do it on YouTube as well. So we decided this week to simulcast the live stream. So if you just have Twitch or if you just have YouTube, you can watch it there. But, cool. We'll see how this goes.
we're working our way towards complete global saturation.
Yeah, as much as we don't know what we're doing, sometimes we do when things go up and running.
I was good with this recommendation because it required no incremental work from me. So I was like, yeah, of course we should do that.
Yeah,
Like,
it also wasn't a lot of work for me, but when you told me, I was like, fuck, now I gotta figure this out.
yeah.
Wait till we have to stream at your place. Then we'll have to fucking figure everything else out. Yeah. But yeah, that's just something we wanted to let you guys know. As always, for those guys that aren't aware, we are live streaming. Well, we are trying to live stream our episodes recording. We think it's good for us. It keeps us on our toes, and it's good for the banter. And we know some of our fans are 50 loyal fans on YouTube, and whatever amount we have on our audio subscriptions, really look forward to that. We're growing. There's dozens of us.
Does anyone listen to this on audio anymore?
Yeah, we still get some audio
Yeah.
people.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
I haven't looked at it in a while.
Listen, when you can't watch,
I'm
you can listen.
YouTube ride or die. So
I get you. When you can't watch, you listen. So, and that'll always be our first thing. I think, if anything, if we ever can't do a video recording, the audio will still be there. But we appreciate all our followers. Year 3 of Pressing Buttons, always looking good like the last 2 years. All right, that's enough out of me and my blabbering. Let's get on to some news. First bit of news we wanted to discuss this week is Microsoft cutting 2,000 jobs, about 2,000 jobs. And we also want to talk about it in conjunction with all the big layoffs that have happened in the video game industry this year. In total, it's been about 6,000 total layoffs of people in the video game industry. Mainly this one was a big one because it was 2,000 from Microsoft. It's about 8.6% of the workforce, according to Phil Spencer. The impacted studios were from Activision Blizzard, ZeniMax, and Xbox. Even a head honcho, the president of Blizzard, Mike Ibarra, is out. They'll be announcing a new president sometime this week, I believe. They also canceled Odyssey, which was a game that was 6 years in development out of ZeniMax, I believe, or Activision Blizzard. That game itself had some issues with the engine that they were using, Synapse, so wasn't boding well for that anyways. But like I was saying, it does come in conjunction with over 6,000 employees laid off in the video game industry, a lot of them coming from major companies such as Riot, Discord, and Twitch. So we want to talk about that, and we wanted to talk about the impact of all these layoffs are having in the game industry. And on my end, obviously, it's, you never want to see developers kind of get laid off, especially with how well the video game industry is doing the last couple of years. We know the development cost for video games has been very high lately, especially with these big AAA first-party games, Horizon Zero Dawn, God of War, Halo, Spider-Man, you go down the line, and especially with a lot of the hacks and leaks from these publishers, we do know how much they're invested in these games and how much they cost to develop. Going as far as Spider-Man 2 costing about $220 million or whatever that number was, very high number. And it's affecting a lot of the developers because they're getting laid off. Obviously, the costs are getting high, the sales are high, but it's negatively impacting the developers with them getting laid off, which is never a good thing. Obviously, you kind of want to do business and you understand that there's cost to the business, but I just feel like there's very rampant, what's the word I'm looking for? Very rampant, uncontrollable guidelines to this, because there's a better way to do this. If the profits are up, there's a better way to manage those profits where you don't have to lay off people, and especially on the heels of a lot of these companies don't do work from home. Some of them do. I can say confidently that Bungie has kind of shifted to a work from home strategy, which is good for a lot of people. But with these companies, especially I believe like Riot and Twitch, they kind of had a come back to the office kind of approach type of thing, and then they laid off all these people. So that kind of sucks, where you're settled into a home or whatever, buying stuff, buying real estate, buying cars or whatever, and then you get laid off. That doesn't bode well. You don't know. It also puts the fear on the ones that don't get fired, where it's like, all right, when's the next round? When is it our turn? So definitely not something that we're happy about. Obviously, we want what's best for the games and the gamers and the people who work on the games. You would have more insight, I believe, in this thing. What are your thoughts on this?
That was a lot, man.
I know it was a lot.
You unloaded on everyone.
Yeah,
including me.
I have no shame. I have no shame. I unload on everybody.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about this. I remember in year one of our podcast, it became like a running joke of just like, oh, it's another week of talking about acquisitions and industry consolidation, and then now here we are, like a couple years later, and we're just constantly talking about layoffs. And I think that number you said, it was like over 6,000 employees. That was just this year, right?
Just this year.
January, just 1 month, basically.
28 days into January.
Yeah, and we know like layoffs have been happening, throughout all of last year as well. So
especially towards the end, which was weird.
Yeah, yeah. So I think the total number is actually quite a bit higher than that. So yeah, and it's not great. I mean, I think it really comes down to, and we saw a lot of this in the tech sector as well, right? It's like all of these, what they called stay-at-home stocks. So this was like during quarantine, just like a lot of companies that had technology that kind of enabled everyone to stay at home, or in the case of games, people are at home, they had more time. Gaming got like a ton of tailwinds with growth, and I think a lot of growth that it would have had got pulled super forward and really just made things grow like crazy. So I think during those times where there's crazy growth and there's relatively cheap capital, so being able to get access to more money to invest into the company, that creates an environment of like, I think the word you're looking for is maybe irresponsible growth or something along the lines of that. Like I think there was
that is what I was looking for that I could not articulate.
Yeah. I think there was a lot of irresponsible investment decisions that were made, particularly with headcount. And again, like we're definitely saw that in the gaming industry, but saw a lot of it in the technology industry as well. So I think what we were seeing is just a lot of companies just trying to, like, I guess, correct that, for lack of a better term, where they're just like, oh my God, we grew like crazy. Things are different now. There's economic uncertainty. Raising money is now expensive and timely, and costs like a lot of time and money to do that. So the one of the thoughts of that is reducing staff, which is shitty. It's not, nobody likes that, other than shareholders and investors. I think that's all there is to say about that.
Well, speaking of shareholders and investors, and I know you're on the internet as much as I am, and I'm pretty sure you've seen this quote that has been kind of floating around recently from Satoru Iwata, which he made back in 2013 during the investor Q&A, and they asked him why, given Nintendo's lackluster performance at the time, there had been no cuts to staff members, and this is what he said: if we reduce the number of employees for better short-term financial results, employee morale will decrease. I sincerely doubt employees who fear that they may be laid off will be able to develop software titles that can impress people around the world. So I wanted to ask you, since you're kind of more in it, obviously the CEOs, they don't want to take pay cuts. You had Tim Sweeney over there when Epic was kind of laying a lot of people off and all that stuff. He was still getting his bonus and all that stuff. What
He actually said that they were not going to lay anyone off. So he even was like kind of being cocky and saying like, look at all these companies laying people off. We're not doing that. And then like
still laid them off anyways?
they end up doing it anyway. Yeah.
What do you think is the main differentiator in this thinking? Do you think it's because it's more of a Eastern approach to it because of the way Japan works, or is it because you know Americans are greedy or Western studios are greedier and they rather just the shareholders and the CEOs profit without looking at the bottom line of like, hey, it's the people. We have to make sure we have a good studio. We want to be releasing. We don't want to have high studio turnover or anything like that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I've seen a lot of people throwing his quotes around. I actually even I have his book right here.
There you go.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan of the guy. Yeah, no, I think there's definitely cultural differences that are influencing that as well. I think the other big thing is that Iwata was also he was like a hardcore game developer. So started out as a game developer. I think that's how he kind of primarily identified as. And either a gamer or a game developer, but like that's his thing. And then later in his career, he transitioned into executive management. But I think being a gamer and game developer at heart kind of was the foundation of a lot of his big picture business decisions. And you don't see a lot of that. Particularly with like Western companies, a lot of the like CEOs came from like consumer product industries, or they're not necessarily like hardcore gamers or really care about game developers at all. Like they just care about shareholders and bottom line and things like that. So I think they're just very different worlds. And I think Iwata's also he's taking like a very long-term view, which as someone who's worked at a private company that then became public, I've seen how decision making kind of increasingly gets pushed to become more short-term thinking, because they're always which I think is the wrong way to do it, but it just kind of inevitably happens. You always think about the next quarter. As opposed to like 5 years from now. So as a public company, you're just increasingly making more decisions that are more short term in nature to appease shareholders and investors, and that's what Iwata-san was specifically saying. He's like, that's not how I want to run this company. I want to think about the long term, and if the board doesn't like that, they can fire me, basically. So. So I think that's great, but I think that's a rare breed of executive that you don't see a lot in gaming these days.
And ultimately the right call, because Nintendo after that, successful. Like they've been successful.
I will say I think Nintendo. I don't think they would have been in such an extreme position as a lot of these other companies, though. Just because I think they're very like extraordinarily thoughtful and careful around, they haven't made that many studio acquisitions. I think there's like a few, but like that's not typically how they operate. I think they're like very kind of slow with like headcount growth and things like that. So I don't think they would have been in the similar position as a lot of these other companies that are like, we need to like double our headcount to catch up with all this demand. Like, I don't think they would have done that to begin with. So I don't know if that makes sense. So like there was this whole quarantine, this thing, sadly Iwata-san has passed away, but this whole quarantine thing kind of created this bizarre set of circumstances that I think Nintendo just like wouldn't have like fallen victim to, unlike a lot of other gaming companies.
Yeah, they're not. I think in layman's terms, they're not biting off more that they can chew, and also as you see Microsoft and Sony kind of cannibalizing each other, going after the same market. They're like, well, we'll just go after whatever market, say games for everybody kind of thing, and it's worked out for them with the success of the Wii and the Wii U and the Switch and whatever the Switch 2 will come out. I think that just their approach works so well. So, but obviously, you do want more. You want this kind of sentiment out of your CEO. So it's kind of hard to see when games are being so successful that they're getting canceled. They're people are getting laid off, and this is not the last we'll hear of it. Hopefully, we don't hear too much about it this year. But obviously, I don't think it'll be the last we'll hear of it. And with acquisitions or whatever, everything's getting kind of consolidated. So it's not looking like a good road. So, yeah.
I think there's 11 more months of this.
Oh wow! Every month you're saying.
Yeah.
Oof. All right.
I think the rest of this year is going to be pretty bumpy, and then hopefully things start stabilizing next year.
Yeah, and the big thing is too, it's not just the video game market; it's also like journalism and websites and stuff like that. So it's all kind of just bad news to read.
Yeah.
Well, but that keeps us in the business, so that keeps us talking.
The one positive thing is it's not just the games that's fucked; it's everything's fucked.
Yeah,
we're all in this together.
We're all in this together, but we'll try to make it a little bit happier. Okay. Let's move on from this sad news into some regular news.
We're going to talk about Palworld.
We're going to talk about Palworld.
How can that not put a smile on your face?
So if you've been with us, if you heard the episode last week, we talked about Palworld and how big of a hit it got on Steam and also on Xbox Game Pass and Xbox. It sold over 7 million copies in a week, a very rare feat to do these days. But there's been some controversy, of course. You have the similarities to Pokemon. The Pokemon company released a statement that they will be looking into it, which I don't know what that means too much. Nintendo also issued a DMCA takedown against a mod that basically had Ash and basically Pokemon in the game, so they took that down. Big question, is this a parody? Is this considered a parody where Nintendo can't really do anything about it? Or do you think this will affect the game? Let's get your thoughts first, and then I'll get mine. What do you think of these?
There's no point. I mean, we can like talk about it, but like I have no fucking idea. Like, so the developer is a Japanese company. The developer of Palworld is a Japanese company, and Nintendo is a Japanese company. So like I have no idea, like if like parody law is even a thing. Well, you know what I mean? Like
in America, that's the main thing. Do you think it would be considered a parody? And also, I know, like it's a Japanese company, but have you seen the similarities like with the PALs and Pokemon? Why people are they're copying them?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think it's definitely because then it's like. This isn't the only like monster collecting clone. There's Digimon and Yu-Gi-Oh and Yokai Watch. It's like this isn't the first attempt at trying to like copy the formula of Pokemon. I just think some of the monster designs are maybe
a little bit too close for comfort.
Yeah. Like so, I think maybe in hindsight they should have put in a little bit more thought to make them more differentiated, but so yeah, I just don't know how what that dividing line is, and I feel that if Nintendo thought they had a slam dunk case, like this game already would have been nuked.
Yeah,
like Nintendo wouldn't have allowed them to get to 8 million sales or like whatever the number is now. Like I think 7 million is already out of date. Like you have 7 million in the notes. I think it's already higher than that. Like it's insane. So that's my thinking is if they had a case, they would have smoked this thing already.
Sorry for that. Ash was biting the shit out of my hand, so I had to move him around.
That's fine.
And now my camera's fucked up. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
No. So I totally agree with you. Like you said, if Nintendo had a case, they would have said something a while ago before it actually got released. I do think it's more of everybody saying something. Everybody kind of saying, "Oh, it's too much like Pokemon," and that's why they had to respond. Like you said, it's a different parity law that would be in Japan, whereas here in the States, so it's definitely something that could be looked into it, but it's a lot to do about nothing. The game's popular, people like the game. I don't think it'll be enough for them to do anything about it. So just wanted to look into it.
I mean, hopefully, I'm sure like the Nintendo legal team will, spend a bunch of time and energy on this. I hope the right thing that Nintendo learns is like
that they need to make this type of game with
hey,
Pokemon.
Yeah, like hey, maybe people are interested in this type of game. Maybe we should, put like a decent development budget towards like basically like a Palworld, but with no guns. That's how they should actually market the game. They should say it's hey, it's Palworld, but with no guns.
That would be great marketing. But I do agree with it. Some of the guys on Discord have been playing it. Shout outs to Keezy, Ace, and Wolf Venom. They've been playing it. They're enjoying the heck out of it. It does kind of put me off, that aspect of it, Pokemon with guns kind of thing. Not that
it's like funny though. I mean,
no, it's funny, but I'm saying like
yeah.
it's a process. It's not like they have guns right away. It's a whole thing. But it's just like, yeah, if you just give me Nintendo, if you just give me this Pokemon no guns, but just like this well done, I think.
No, Palworld with no guns.
Yeah. Which would be
you said Pokemon with no guns, which is just Pokemon.
That's true. Okay. Power with no guns. If you give me the aesthetics, everything you could do in this game, something like this, like people will buy it, man. Like they already buy Pokemon games and they don't have that much shit in it. Imagine something like this, how well it would sell.
Yeah.
All right. So last bit of news we wanted to talk about is Suicide Squad. So with the release being imminent, releasing February 2nd, full release, early access January 29th, I believe. There's been some rumblings, mostly a little bit negative because they didn't really hand out any review codes for any publications, us included. So, if anybody ever wants to give us review codes for anything, we're open.
Bullshit, dude.
We're open to it. But a lot of people believe mainly it was due to a negative IGN preview where they previewed the game for 2 hours and they kind of bashed it. But also, according to them, it's more because the game won't be, the servers won't be up for the game until the pre-release, which is on the 29th. Some good news, which I think is actually good news, is that they announced the DLC. The first DLC character will be the Joker. And the reason for that, even though the Joker is, spoiler alert, dead in the Arkhamverse. So if I spoil that for you, it's a very old game. You should have been playing Batman a while ago. So shouldn't really be a spoiler. But anyways.
Shame on you.
Yeah, shame on you for not playing such great games. But yeah, the Joker's dead in the Arkhamverse, but they released a video talking about Elseworlds, which is going to be like their DLC and the end game of the game, where you'll be getting more Suicide Squad members, but they might not necessarily be from the Arkhamverse. They'll be from a different universe that Brainiac will be bringing in, and the first one being the Joker. I read... I believe a little leak of what the other 3 or 4 will be for the first couple seasons, which look very interesting. I don't want to say who they are because I don't want to be wrong, but I like this approach that they're doing, especially because my main interest out of this game, besides the looting and shooting and all that stuff, is the story of it. It's the characters of it. I've been a big DC fan for a while, so I'm excited to see how they take it, especially with different versions of the same character. And then eventually down the road, it might just turn into a Justice League game, because if you get to play as the Justice League characters, we don't know about that. But I am glad, as bad as it's getting the previews and, whether it's good or not, like I'm still excited for the game. I'll buy it no matter what. But that they do have a vision. And the thing with this game is it could go one of two ways. It could go the way of Destiny, where it's widely loved, even though it's criticized every now and then, but it has a good range of DLC and weapons and a fun aspect to it. Or it could go the way of Anthem and I can't think of another game right now that was like live service, but Anthem would be the closest one where like it was a good game, it had good mechanics, but they didn't really have anything after Endgame.
Exo Primal.
Exo Prime. Well, no,
That didn't have a beginning game.
Yeah, not for you. I think some people still play it.
Okay.
There's a Monster Hunter DLC, so you could play. I think people are playing that right now. But I have high hopes for the game. I think I'll play the heck out of it anyways. I'm a big DC fan. I like the way they're doing the things. The only question is, it will hold my attention enough? Because as always, I'll probably default to Destiny whenever we get new DLC and stuff like that. Your thoughts on them kind of holding back reviews from review codes from publications, or just the DLC stuff in general? I know you're not as excited as I am for it, but it is a game that I feel like you might want to dabble in a little bit just for fun.
I just pulled up the IGN preview just because I thought it was like a pretty devastating headline.
It was devastating.
Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League preview. We played it and didn't like it. It's just like,
just to put that on the headline is
it's just, and that's the headline. So I was like, okay, that's kind of aggressive.
You played 2 hours or something, didn't like it, and now you're kind of screwed it.
So yeah, I think and I don't think it was just IGN. I think there's been other mixed signals on the game from a variety of outlets, and also just people who played the the network test or whatever it was called, including ourselves. So yeah, I think a lot of people are speculating that they're trying to pull a ZeniMax and just try to game the review system in some way. So yeah, there's every outlet's talking about how they're not going to have a review of the game anytime soon because they still don't have any codes. So that doesn't send a strong signal about what the developers and Warner Brothers think about the quality of the game. I'm not surprised because what's that?
Well, my I was like, I feel like that doesn't send that signal, but I don't know.
It absolutely does. Because if the game was awesome, they would want people talking about it.
But oh my god, oh my fucking cat just fucking scratched the shit out of me. There's a lot of games that haven't had previews and they still turn out awesome. But you just think because
live service games.
It's hard to give a preview of a live service game because it's a live service game unless everything's up and running. Unless everything's up and running, you don't know how all the things will work in conjunction with it being a live service game. Like Destiny, when I played Destiny, the alpha and the beta, it was the only thing that was really fun about it was the multiplayer. That had its own multiplayer thing, but I was like, okay, what about the other live service parts of it? It worked a little bit, but you didn't really fully see the realization of it until you got the full game kind of thing. So it's hard for live service, and I'm not trying to defend it.
It sounds like you're trying to defend it.
I'm trying to defend something that's not out fully realized into the world without and getting criticized completely kind of thing.
Yeah. Look if the game comes out and it's super fun, he's jumping on your shelf. You might want to watch out. He's gonna knock over Rick.
All right, continue. I will pull him down.
Okay, this would be pretty funny if he knocks over your shelf. Yeah, I was just saying, look, if the game comes out and it's awesome, great. Everybody wins. I'm just saying that I think based on some of these maneuvers, to me, it doesn't send a strong signal about what they think the initial reception is going to be at launch. Then, the whole Joker, revealing the Joker as a playable character, that kind of makes me wonder, whether they actually plan for that to be right at launch, or if that's something that they accelerated.
No. I think he was planned at launch just because you needed somebody big. Obviously, with like a little bit of the Suicide Squad history. I feel like a lot of people in the Suicide Squad were kind of obscure characters. You just don't want to throw in some obscure character right off the bat. I feel like the Joker being like the first one is just like, hey, big splash, and then we'll slowly release. One of the ones I read was Killer Frost. Like Killer Frost is going to be one of the Suicide Squad members, and Deadshot and stuff like that. So like those are a bit known, but not as much as the Joker. You do want to make that splash in the beginning, I think.
Yeah. We'll see. So, but I wasn't surprised because, live service games and multiverses kind of go hand in hand these days. So, not that surprising from like a narrative perspective that Rocksteady made that. Like Brainiac can pull characters from anywhere.
It's comics, man. So, it's a multiverse.
Yeah. But I think that was like them revealing the Joker was the first we've heard of it like being like officially like a multiverse setting, right?
Yeah. But I kind of thought,
but it's not surprising. It's not surprising at all.
I was like, it's gonna have to do something like this. It's hard not to with the universe. Obviously, to throw in the multiverse, people love different versions of different characters.
It's the storytelling's most convenient reset button.
There you go.
This is like, fuck, we killed this character. Just pull another copy from a parallel universe.
That works. At least it's not the Jared Leto Joker.
That would have been incredible. That definitely would have killed the game.
Initially, I was like, is this the Jared Leto Joker? But then I was like, no, it's not. Thank God. One thing before
Thug Life, doesn't he have a tattoo that says Thug Life or something? Or what is this? He's got some like stupid tattoo in his face.
It says insane or something. Some weird. Demented. Some weird shit.
Okay.
Damaged.
Maybe I'll get that one.
Please do. Before we move on from it, the one last thing on it, which I wanted to see your opinion on, is they announced that for all the seasons, you'll be able to unlock previous rewards. So if you're not there for a season, as long as you purchase the season, you can unlock it later on down the road. In other seasons. And obviously I think this is very strong for this type of game because that's kind of what they're selling on it, the cosmetics and stuff and everything you can earn in the game. I know Halo does this, which is pretty cool. I wish more games did this because there are those times where you're not able to play through seasons of the game. I would say Fortnite, like when we're playing Fortnite, we missed a couple seasons. You can't get the stuff back from there unless you pay an exorbitant amount of money to get that stuff. So I am excited for that part of it, that if I do buy a season, I can still earn the stuff from that season pass in later seasons. What do you think on that? And is that do you think that's a small amount of goodwill?
I like that. Yeah, no, it's good. I think broadly speaking, anything that minimizes minimal or missable content is a good design choice. Like I know why developers design missable content, but I feel like
doesn't do any good for anybody.
Yeah, I just feel like it's like not actually like net positive. So no, I think that's a good thing, and we'll see how it works. Like if I actually get into the battle pass and experience it, and then hopefully that'll be like, okay, like this is great, and I think hopefully it carries over to like other battle passes as well. Yeah, so I think that's a pro gamer move.
We love pro gamer moves.
We'll see if that, but we'll see if developers are convinced that that's actually like beneficial to the sales of their game, because developers are always trying to figure out ways of creating artificial scarcity of their goods in order to get people to play. So I just don't know if.
I mean, it was one of it did stand out for me because I just realized that right now they're reselling some Destiny cosmetics for like $35 that I bought the season for, but I only play like 20 hours of the season that I can't get back. Like if I want that, I have to pay $35 more. I'm like, what the fuck? I already paid a season for it. So that's why I was like, this is a very big thing, and I'm happy it's doing it. I will probably be playing the game. I don't know if I'm gonna do the early access because it's $100, and also I don't know.
Don't do that.
Get some
Just wait.
no, well, I have to see. I have to look at it and see what the benefits are, because I don't mind doing early access if the benefits are exuberant. So we'll see.
Don't do it. I'll be disappointed if you
I've done worse things like
spend if you spend $100 to play Suicide Squad.
I've done worse things like pay for Final Fantasy 14 for 5 or 6 months without playing it. So.
I'm cool with that. That's fine.
All right. We're going to move on to some closing thoughts. That's all the news that we had for the week. If you guys have any thing you'd like to let us know about or add, or let us know what you think of this news, let us know through our website, pressingbuttons.gg. That'll give you access to our Discord, and you guys can talk to us there. I'll start off, as usual. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. Finished the game. Really, really loved it. Definitely a strong contender for one of the best games of the year. I know it's very early to say, but I think they nailed the whole Metroidvania aspect of it. I love the story. I love the gameplay of it and the visuals. Really, really enjoyed it. So if you are looking for something, it's not a short game, I would say. I think it took me like 15 or 20 hours, but I think that's more because I like collecting everything. So I was like going everywhere, getting everything. I got the platinum on it. I'm not afraid to say it. I'm a little bit of a trophy hunter every now and then, or I try to get as much of it as I can, because it just enhances the experience of the game. It gets me to play the game more. But really, really great game. If you haven't, or if you're looking into checking it out, make sure you do. I would recommend it. Really, really good game. So good job, Ubisoft, which is not something we've said a lot of.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's great. I think we collectively have been more or less dunking on Ubisoft for, I think, the entirety of this podcast. I think this might be the first positive title.
Well, you mostly dunk on them. I get disappointed in them.
Okay.
2 different perspectives. I still like them.
So I think so. I'm glad to hear it. I'm a Metroidvania fan, Prince of Persia fan. I just, at the same time, like, there's just too much other stuff going on, like more like other games I'm more interested in. But
totally
I do have this on. It's definitely like in the back of my mind as a game, maybe, Q2 or Q3, if there's like a dead zone, maybe I try to find it.
Yeah, we don't know what's
on a discount, or maybe it's a Game Pass.
We don't know what's releasing on the back half that's really strong. So we might have some pockets where you might need to go into the early catalog of the year. Other thing before we talk about Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, because I know you're going to talk about it, so I'll leave that for my third thing. But I did watch this comedy special by Jacqueline Novak. It's called the On Your Knees special. And the whole special, she just talks about blowjobs. But it's so well done, and she is so poetic, that I would recommend it. It's a really good special. It's like watching somebody do a thesis for their college paper or whatever about blowjobs, but also be high on shrooms and Adderall, which I guess could happen when you're doing a thesis. Would recommend it. Very mature subject, but it's done really well. I think and to do it on one topic is kind of like weird. I'm a big fan of comedy specials. I like watching comedy specials. I like going to comedy shows. I'm a big fan of Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle, Mitch Hedberg, but a bunch of different comedians. And this one came across my timeline, and I checked it out. It's on Prime Video, so if you have the chance, you don't mind the subject topic, I think it's really, really well done. And I would, I've been kind of telling people to watch it, but it's kind of hard to tell them to watch a special on blowjobs, just because I want to discuss it and how well it's done. So if anybody watches it or something.
Can we even say that on YouTube? I don't even know.
This might be rated M for mature. I don't know. Anyway,
I definitely need to uncheck the box for is this or is this content for kids?
Well, for the streaming, I put it's good for kids, so I think it maybe.
Oh no, dude!
Sorry, kids.
Jesus.
Anyways, let's move on to the next thing, which is Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. As you know, Nick and I have been waiting for this game Well, for a long time. Obviously, we played Like a Dragon last year. Well, I played last year. He played the year before. We played the Like a Dragon Gaiden. We love the series. We love the characters. So we've been really, really anticipating this game. It's the first, I would say, big AAA release of the year for anybody. It's been getting great reviews. I really only played it, I want to say, like 2 hours. I was really tired yesterday. And it released on Thursday night. But I was just busy with work. I wasn't able to play it on Friday or yesterday. I only played 2 hours. I like what I played of it, which is not saying much because obviously, from what Nick will say, there's a lot more to it, and I know there's a lot more to it. But definitely, Like a Dragon: Infinite Wealth. Cannot wait to play it a lot more this week during my sessions of playing Suicide Squad. Uh, Talk to me. What are your closing thoughts?
Pretty much exclusively Infinite Wealth.
There you go. That's some good closing thoughts.
Yeah, wasn't able to start playing it until I think it was Friday. I think technically it was available on Thursday, but I was
early
busy.
Thursday.
Yeah, so I started playing it on Friday and some more yesterday. It's great. It's like it's exactly what I wanted. It's just like a much larger scale, much more polished, higher production value, Like a Dragon. It does start. I think it kind of starts like slow, and I think I've even seen some reviews and impressions say that. But I think for people like if you liked like Ichiban and the characters, and if you played Like a Dragon Gaiden, like it's great. Like it's fun. Like it's like maybe kind of slow, and it takes a while to like get into the core gameplay loop. But because I'm so invested in the characters and everything that's going on, like I had a good time. So
have you?
I don't know.
The mini games. Have you hit the Sujimon or the?
No, dude. Like I haven't even scratched the surface of the mini games. I think I've just played. I played a couple arcade games, some UFO catcher. There's like a dating app mini game. There's a food
dating app mini games.
There's a food delivery. It's basically like you're an Uber Eats delivery guy. There's like it's kind of like Crazy Taxi a little bit too, but you're on a bike. I forgot the name of it. It's like Crazy Eats or something like that. But so I played some of that. But yeah, I think like the big ones are there's like a Sujimon, which is like their parody of Pokemon. It's just instead of it being
another one
cute monsters, it's like degenerate people like off the streets. Yeah, that's their term. They use the term degenerates. So I think there's like some like big tournament. I don't know. So like I've triggered the side quest, but I haven't like gotten into it yet. So I've started collecting Sujimon, but I haven't actually like battled them or anything like that. And then the other one is I think the biggest one is probably the island, which is like their parody of Animal Crossing. And I don't think I'm close to that yet. I've heard it takes a while to get to that. So I just pretty recently got to Hawaii. You do spend some time in Japan for the opening hours of the game, and then make your way to Hawaii. That's pretty much it. Having a great time. It's more of what I like, but like on a bigger scale.
Will we be doing a review of this?
Yeah. It's just a question of when. Like I just don't know how long the game is.
You said that about Alan Wake, but okay.
Well, I think we both just didn't want to do a review of that game. I think
we really wanted to do it in the beginning, and then we're like,
in the beginning, and then once yeah. I don't think it was review worthy.
All right, yeah, but I think this one will. So,
this one's review. Yeah, this will be like one of my Game of the Year contenders.
It might just take us a month or two, depending. We're going to be putting a lot of hours into it.
Yeah. And I think I maybe we talked about this before, but when I first heard that the game was going to take place in Hawaii, I was like a little bit reluctant, because one of the reasons I like the game is because it's in Japan and all of that. But I think they do like an incredible job of making it like it feels appropriate and everything like makes sense, and it seems like kind of a natural extension. So that's felt good. So like it's not like weird that you're just like, oh, it's just the same guy, but he's in the US now or whatever. Like it feels good. So so I've been pretty happy with how they incorporated Hawaii into the narrative.
Have you been to Hawaii?
I've never been, so
I want to find
maybe there was
somebody.
another reason why I'm like, I've never been. Like, I don't care about Hawaii.
I want to find somebody that one will play this game or will want to play this game, and also two has lived or been in Hawaii, because obviously they do such a great job with Japan that I know from reading the interviews and stuff like that they also did a very good job with Hawaii in terms of the locales and stuff like that. I don't know if you know Gene Park. I think he writes for the Washington Times. Or one of those newspapers. I don't know. I'm not a big newspaper reader, but he lived in Hawaii. He says it's very accurately done. So I kind of want to know a little bit more about that. And one other thing, I think the reason this game resonates so well, I think with me, and might be with you too, is because it's an RPG, which we love, but it's like a modern time RPG dealing in the world of now, 2022. It's not like some medieval shit, so it's kind of more hilarious, like how they try to have those RPG sensibilities with modern world sensibilities. So I think that just makes it more fun and makes it such a good game. But yeah, it's definitely. I'm excited to put more time into it. I'm sad that I was too sleepy and tired to put more than 2 hours into it, but it's definitely going to be up there, and we'll probably do a review of it. Anything else?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Else? Are you watching anything? Are you?
That's it. Nah, I'm watching baby content.
Well, at least you're not driving a dog to Ohio every weekend, so
I'm done with that
anymore.
I felt like there was like a void this weekend of like, what is like all this time I have? And it's like, oh yeah, I'm not driving for 16 hours.
Yeah, that's always good.
Yeah.
All right, so that does it for us. Thank you guys for joining us on the live stream. Make sure to check out our website, pressingbuttons.gg, where you can get access to all our links, our Twitch channel, our YouTube channel, our Discord, so you can come in there and have a chat with us and other gamers that enjoy the show and enjoy games. We'll see you guys next week, episode 93. We're inching along to episode 100, so super excited about that. But yeah. Thanks for joining us. I'm Hugo. Bye.
I'm Nick. Later.